We have in this room the ability to help those women, artists struggling, to help find a way to make sure their voices are heard.
No, I never thought the film was going to come around. I just personally felt that I started to notice from living in Europe, I started to notice that there was a lot on the news or a lot in different things that I just hadn't heard about. I just felt that I think there's a lot we're not taught in school. There was a lot, they didn't cover Pol Pot in my history books. I didn't properly understand what's been going on. All these countries around the world, how the majority of the world lives and really what's happening.
Angelina Jolie. Living in Europe, I realized that there is a lot to learn. I think there are a lot of things we are not taught in school. I realized how the majority of people live in all these countries around the world, and I learned the best by being in an environment with all these ordinary people living their life and struggling for it. I felt blind to the real world, and then I educated myself according to that world. It changed me a lot. It changed me in every sense, I felt so fortunate about everything. That I know where my family lives, my child is healthy, my career is in the right direction. I felt so lucky even about the little things. I think I was quite lost for a very long time, and being an actor is a nice thing. You could tell amazing stories to the people, but you also have to be present in the real world, meet the real people, and help those families suffering or in some kind of trouble. I think we are a positive hope for women out there who are being tortured and their voices are silenced. Most of the women do not even get the chance to speak for themselves. They have to worry about the honor of their family, so they never raise their voices. That's why we have to set a positive example for women who fight every day for their life. When I began to live beyond my home, I realized my responsibilities. When I met survivors of rape and war, I came to know what life is for most of us and how fortunate I was to have a safe place to live, to have food to eat, to have a roof over my head. If you want to see more videos like this, smash the like button.
We have a level of freedom that is unimaginable for millions of other women around the world. Women who live with conflict and terrorism and displacement and poverty, who never get a chance, whose voices are always silenced.
More than any time in the last 70 years, that is 1 in every 122 people. This tells us something deeply worrying about the peace and security of our world. It says that for all other advances, this type of human insecurity is growing faster than our ability to prevent or reverse it.
And it was only when I began to travel and look and live beyond my home that I understand my responsibility to others. And when I met survivors of war and famine and rape, I learned what life is like for most people in this world and how fortunate I was to have food to eat, a roof over my head, a safe place to live, and the joy of having my family safe and healthy. I have I think I was always quite lost in not having a sense of purpose. I think to be an actor is a nice thing and you could tell good stories, but I think to know that you're useful just as a human being with your own hands, willing to just be out there, real people, talking to families, being amongst people like the people in aid relief who really are these amazing human beings.
We don't have to keep our heads down. We don't have to think that the film we make or our comment on politics or joke we tell on stage could land us in prison, where we might be tortured or punished. We don't live with censorship. We don't have to worry that acting in a play or singing on television will bring violence or dishonor to our families.
The international humanitarian system is supposed to work on the basis that refugees will be protected, largely in camps where they can be given basic food, shelter, and education as a temporary measure until they are able to return to their homes. During this time, the exceptional cases of the most vulnerable people can be identified for asylum in a third country and then moved.
And so I kind of learned best by being in an environment and wanted to just educate myself. I felt really blind to the real world. It changed me completely. It changed me just to, I just realized how fortunate I was and how stupid I'd been for ever being self-destructive or wanting for more. I realized how sheltered I had been, and I was determined never to be that way again. We are all, everyone in this room, so fortunate. I have never understood why some people are lucky enough to be born with the chance that I had to have this path in life, and why across the world there's a woman just like me, the same abilities.
We don't have to tailor our clothes or our opinions to what is acceptable to religious authorities or violent extremist groups. We are not shunned and considered immoral as women because we dare to speak our mind about what we consider to be wrong in society. We have the right to think freely and to speak freely.